There is no greater honor than winning a VRMLCon Grand Final. An underdog team against all odds, and a roster looking to re-establish their glory. In a nail-biting final match, they went head-to-head. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the Breachers VRMLCon Grand Final of the Phoenix Invitational.
The finals, I don't think anyone predicted this one to be where we're at, and we don't have to wait long for ourselves to get into our first map of the day, which is excitingly enough, with F3 versus IV going to be on Maul to kick us off. Let's hear it in the Arizona State University Media Experience at Barca Center. We're going into Maul, Martini, right here to kick things off. I mean, did you ever think this map was going to get chosen at the start of our VRMLCon finals?
No, right? I saw that actually in the last game with IV. I was surprised for them to choose, because Maul does get chosen here and there, but it's just not one of those commonly chosen maps. It's one of the newer ones. These teams tend to maybe get into it a little bit later on in the next season, but usually not in the current season that it just came out. And yet we're seeing it not once, but twice. I'm not sure if y'all had it on the main stage, but now I'm seeing it twice in a row. I'm wondering what's going on. What is in the air that people have this Maul fever? Maybe because it reminds them of the Phoenix, Arizona desert. And that's not why.
They just want to replicate the real life experience they're getting here, as we do see some shots off, and it's definitely not that case. This is a beautiful facility that we're in right now, Bob. These players on stage in a huge venue on the second largest screen in Arizona, and Snoop kicks it off with a kill on Swift on Quest. Proxy on the front line getting an instant, and half HP chipped down as the challenge on Plunge gets denied. Snoop goes down and Plunge drops off the hot angle.
Pay attention to F3. This is where they thrive on the offense. That's really what led the charge against a powerhouse like Acer. Now, Martini can fill in for me where I missed out on the IV game, but I'd say that F3 are probably my favorite heading into this offense, because they just put on an incredible offensive show, and they're already getting a move on against IV here on the defense. A minute and a half left to go in this very first round, the pistol round. So everybody doesn't have a whole lot of money right now. And Proxy with a good headshot. Reeds, however, catching the refrag. It's now down to a 1 versus 3. F3 are in trouble. It's up to Double, but it does not happen. There's Sleetso with the first round for IV.
Beautiful placement by Ivy, beautiful decisions by Ivy. We saw a back and forth in terms of the kills from both sides here, and yet Ivy held their own. And this is the team I've seen time and time again, how they can hold their own and have that tenacity, even if they're not feeling as good, even if things don't look great for them there. I mean, I met with Virtual on, one of the co-founders of Ivy. They're definitely feeling very good for this organization, and I mean, I'm excited to see what F3 can put out there, but I saw an amazing gameplay, especially on a map of all spots from Ivy. We've seen flawless defenses come out from them, flawless attacks, so I know they're really ramping things up to 10 today. So F3's got to be doing the same exact thing, because I don't know whether they're cooking against Acer, but maybe it might not work against the Ivy squad. But again, it's only the pistol round. They have a lot more rounds to go. I
mean, Plunge just threading the needle there on that replay. Sleetso with the big clutch at the end, and you can see the Ivy energy, Bob. It's palpable. They're feeling strong here. And Martine, I'm going to lie on you real quick. Where does Maul lie? Offensive, defensive? I mean, what's the analytical perspective here?
I was talking with Shimi about this earlier, and it does kind of feel more like a defender-sided map. We see many times where some of these defenses play a little more aggressive. It makes it a little bit weirder for the attacking team to get into sight, and it feels like they're really fighting all the way through, and it's very complicated for the attacking team. So I would say a little bit more on the defender-sided. So
here we go into the round as Ash on Quest finds one. Some kills coming through up through the middle. Rezi and Snoop with a team kill, unfortunately, over the top in the chaos. It shuts F3 down to just 2 in a 2v4. It's going to be a hard challenge, but HP bars favoring them right now. F3 going to see if they can work with the duo on this push.
Guys, get ready for team kills to become a trend. it was kind of, we had like 4 team kills in the previous matchup, so I don't think F3 can help themselves with it. But currently, they're in a bit of trouble. 4-2, minute 40 left, so they've got time, but just this numbers advantage, especially when you're so early in the game, your money doesn't allow you to buy as many of the guns or the weapons or the equipment that you want. So these moments where you're down in terms of players, they really, really come through, and you'll find it very, very difficult if you're on F3, especially as Proxy makes use of that rifle, takes out Weirdo. It's now down to a 1 versus 4. Is Reap's going to be able to do it? There's not a whole lot of point to salvaging. Maybe a little audio cue there, but Reeves is going to go for it to catch 1 kill, dive in, but they're swift to intercept, and it is going to be a 2-0 lead for Ivy. You know, Martini, I think what's interesting about both of these teams here is they've got chips on their shoulder.
They both do, right? We saw F3 18. That was very underwhelming in the qualifiers. I'm so sorry to talk smack. I love the F3 guys. But I mean, hey, we saw a very lackluster performance from them in the qualifiers. IB, on the other hand, kind of having to fight back for themselves, right? They were the incumbent champion in the leagues that we had seen this season, right? Season 4, we actually had seen them not win out against Acer. Now at this point, it's them coming back to see if they can reclaim another title against the Acer squad. We had the IB era just for a split second, but unfortunately, it wasn't a long era for them. But hey, maybe they can win out the con, force us into the upcoming seasons. Who knows what's going to be at play for Ivy, as we saw Acer fall down from their beautiful dynasty as things didn't quite work out for them. So F3 themselves are crawling back from the 4th seed. Ivy themselves crawling also from the 3rd seed themselves. So both teams are crawling upwards, and yet the 1st and 2nd seed are nowhere to be found in these grand finals.
Not to mention that last year, VRMLCon 2024, the qualifiers that we had there, this is a bit of a grudge match between these two teams, Martini, because if you remember, IV was actually dropped out of those qualifiers because of F3, which is it's a level even deeper than you might think. There's so much history between these two teams. There's so much beef. And we're about to see it all resolved here. But currently, IV is looking quite good with their showing 2-0 lead over F3.
We were on board a bit of a drone there as we saw it rotate in and get a bit of information, trying to assess where their opponent is as the push comes in here. And shots over the top initially giving some info to the Ash on Quest defense, but will they work with it? Will it end up actually being where the threat lies at the end of the day? How is F3 going to push here? It feels like F3 have come in today, practiced, prepared, planned with a playbook in mind, because they simply are putting a fantastic foot forward, defeating Acer in their opening series and now looking to get that $5,000 in cash and hardware from HyperX in their hands. That's what's on the line right now in this best of 3 for the grand finals. And it doesn't get more pressure filled than this, as the nade and the audio transmitter provides some info to the defense. Snoop tries to swing in and hunts for some kills over the top. Swift on Quest finds one. Proxy with the refrag. Proxy with the double. Can Proxy tack on any more kills? That's the question, as Weirdo and Jekyll rotate into sight, and Proxy tucks in. Ash on Quest says peekaboo. Plunge finds one, and Proxy on the backside leaves Jekyll alone to shut down one. Looking for the triple. They have to clutch or kick.
And now, 50 seconds left on the clock. That 1v2. Can Jekyll pull it off? They're in a bit of a tough scenario. You know what I say? When you have numbers, play with numbers. If Ivy wants to win this, they're going to have to work together as a team. And Jekyll is in trouble. They only have 35 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to apply some pressure to the IV side. Can they do it? Only less than half a minute on the clock. Jekyll making their way, navigating, catches one kill. Looks for the second. It doesn't happen. It's a hat trick for IV.
They are on fire, Martine. This IV team coming straight from a 3-map long series right onto the main stage. That's a test of stamina.
Truly a contentious series for both of these teams, right? They're coming both from their own set of matches, both very highly competitive matches. And you're right, fatigue is one of those things that can start settling in. Can they deal with the anxiety? They're now on the big stage against each other for the grand final prize, the 5K prize of all things. Here we saw a long setup in that previous round from that F3 attack. Didn't quite work out in their favor. Proxy, I mean, coming in with 3K in the very beginning, 4 to finish out that round. Such a vital person. And I always said on the attack, a great entry fragger, and on the defense, amazing at picking off these players one by one. And Jekyll almost getting the clutch in the end, securing the 1v1s, got the one. But I mean, when you're going against Proxy, it's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know, Ivy is just a team of shooters. They really know how to aim, and it just makes them so lethal. Where some teams can really thrive with strategy, sometimes it's just you're a better aim than your opponent, and that really nets you the overall win. But here we go into round number 4. 3-0. This is F3's opportunity to start putting more points on the board in this first half.
Somehow that nade didn't destroy the door blocker, but it would have gotten rid of any static emitters to slow them down. So it's all planned to enable them to rotate here. Right into Ash on Quest, Swift on Quest, picking up kills. Plunge on the Quest, finds the kill, and it's a flawless win for IB. You can't be feeling better than this right now, Martini.
It's looking like a full house, right? Multi kills from these players, a flawless attack, and this is what I saw in the last game. Ivy had several flawless defenses, several flawless attacks, and I said that F3's got to have a beautiful game to back up what they had against Acer. And I'm wondering, was it just because they play well into Acer, or is F3 really that kind of squad? They're that squad that I always say when they go to playoffs, they go to tournaments, they tend to have a little bit of a buff, right? A +10 buff. For some reason, when their backs are against the wall, even if they perform terribly for a part of the season, they still do so amazing in the playoffs. And that's why I always tell teams, as much as the league and those earlier games do matter in terms of seeding and scoring, it's not the end-all be-all for these teams. We've seen teams like F3 come back time and time again in the playoffs and showcase, hey, I know exactly what I'm doing. I mean, check out the beautiful, flawless defense by Ivy. You can't beat what they're cooking here. And I want to see what they're cooking more.
Really nice job here from the IB squad. Pressure's on. Crowd is cheering. It's a live environment here for the Breachers Grand Finals, and it's only day 2. We still have another day of VRMLCon action with Orion Drift starting tomorrow. So there's a lot to look forward to as the crowd in here hyped about that one for sure, but enjoying what has been, honestly, just a fantastic showcase of the game we love. We can't be showing this game in a better state with how good these series have been on the multiple stages, and what a beautiful quick snap from Proxy as they get flashed, and Weirdo looking for a piece of action here up through the smoke, but won't find it. Proxy going to utilize that offensive smoke to their advantage, tuck back in, get scooped up on damage by Jekyll. A quick health syringe heals them back up, and now Jekyll on the push. They get pinched in between the two with Reaps finding that kill. Plunge dropping back, and the defense tucks in.
Swift is caught on the bomb. 1:40 on the clock. Sleetso catching a pick. Makes it a 3 versus 3. This is the closest F3 has gotten in a while. Can F3 step up that offense, push into the site, and find their first round? Best case scenario for them right now is that 4-2 heading into the second half. They're going to need that hype if they want to win, so keep it up. F3 has had a really supportive audience. You love to see it, especially against Acer. They were really loud, and that's exactly what you want. But Rezzy's assassinated by Ash on Quest. Can Reap secure a refrag? Only a minute left on the clock, and Ash almost gets caught out. Jekyll finding a kill, but no, it doesn't happen. 5-0. We could see a first half shutout here on Maul.
I do not want to be on the side of Formula 3 right now. My stomach would be turning, because to face IB with 6-0 and potential first half shutout is not something you want to have at all. And we always talk about the 5-1 curse, but you definitely want to deal with the 6-0 curse. Is that even a thing? Because all that requires is for IB to get one random round to win that one out, and that's so dangerous for them. I mean, check out this replay from that previous round here. So good from Proxy, getting some shots out there. So many back and forth from both of these sides, but in the end, IB, again, to Bob's point, they're just shooters here as Ash finishing that one there with Plunge. Beautiful gameplay from IB.
Really nice coordination, what you would expect from a team that's on the main stage here at VRMLCon. VRML does a great job of cultivating these squads, getting these brands like IV to play consistently across multiple leagues. You see squads like Acer, you see squads like Rec. They are here to play VR Esports, and they show that they know what they're doing when they're on a main stage like this. A 5-0 lead is beautiful. It's comfortable. F3 have, fortunately enough, because of the way this game works, a lot of lost bonus money. So they're able to buy a complete and full buy, essentially, after 5 losses in a row. And so they're coming in just as strong as their opponent IV here. They're coming in with all the utility, all the grenades, the health syringes. They're coming in with their favorite rifles. One player has an Omen, and that means that they were the one that was buying all of that utility for the rest of the squad. So it's a sharing of economy that you get to this point, and maybe it's just the foot in the door they need. One single offensive round here for F3 to find themselves some purchase, to swap sides and have a little buffer between that pistol round loss.
It's got to happen here. You definitely don't want to be shut out in the first half, and this is a good start, as Jekyll did catch one, but a number of picks quickly in succession leave us back with a 3 versus 3 in a tie. A minute 40 on the clock now. F3 have got to step up the offensive pressure if they want to get this first half under control. You've got to at least get something heading into the second. Otherwise, you're not leaving yourself with much margin for error. Look at that. Proxy had the gun over their head. Beautiful, beautiful gun skill. That's why IV is where they are. They're an incredible team for a reason, and Sleet So doesn't care. A double kill. It's a first half lockout for IV.
When you're riding high on momentum, sometimes it carries you to wins. And Sleet So here playing strong, looking good, feeling comfortable. You can hear them cheering. And some quick scramble to fix the head. Something popped off in the chaos. They unplugged their earphones. They were so stoked. And now they have to plug it back in. A quick F1 pit stop, as we say, Bob. These players know how to deal with these headsets just like anyone else. They're familiar with what my controller's down. I got 40 seconds to go get a battery. I'm gonna chuck my headset. I'll sprint to the wherever the batteries are, slam on it like reload it like it's one of the guns in game and get right back into it.
The VR battery, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have seen Bobo VR absolutely saving the day here this afternoon. Everyone on stage wearing those straps, everyone getting that extra battery life. It's why we're just flying from a crazy best of 3 for both of these teams straight into another one. That's literally the only reason we can do it, is because we have Bobo VR batteries. So a huge shout out to them. We really do appreciate their support. Tremendous to have at the end of the day, and it puts us in a position where we can host awesome in-person events using a mobile headset. There's no PCs, they're not connected to anything. They're using Quest 2s and 3s, and we're hosting a tournament off of it, and it's working. Well, it's fun. It's been a lot of fun so far today, and I'm looking forward to more as we get into our next round. Round number 7, 6-0 for IV here onto the side swap into the pistol round. It's kind of do or die.
Yeah, you could say that, right? One more round, and IV are going to claim a first series win over F3. Now, F3, they got to flip the switch. Remember, they play at their best when their back is against the wall, and this could be their opportunity to turn things around. They don't really have much of a margin for error, I guess you could say, because one loss is going to spell their doom. A minute 40 on the clock, 4 versus 5. Already, F3 claim a little bit of that starting momentum. There's the incendiary. It's going to close off that area for at least 15 seconds, but Sleet So catches the pick onto Snoop. That aggression worked against Acer, but will it work against IV? Remember, these teams are so passionate about a win. They've both been denied this opportunity to play on stage so many times before. Flash is coming in, plenty of util on both sides. A minute on the clock now. Riro drops a double kill, plunge with 1, and now it's just down to Proxy in a 1v2, a minute left on the clock. Can they find this win against F3 in this round? Can Proxy do it? Can they clutch? Or can F3 spin things around, start to build up their economy, and potentially carry us another 6 rounds all the way to the end? I would certainly love that.
What a side swap it would be. The F3 defense coming alive here as Proxy on quest, on the hunt for some kills here. The EMP on the ground, and Weirdo swings. The F3 crowd excited about that one, and their first point on the board in the grand finals, Bob. It only took a side swap, but we got here. F3 is there. They put one up, and now they have a fighting chance but it's still do or die. I mean, Martini, you have to full buy. You have to just send all of your money into the next round, into every round you have from here on.
I mean, every single round at this point is a match point for the F3 squads. Again, I wouldn't love to be this myself, but Bob might be right. They're one of those squads that just plays so well when the pressure is on for them. And I mean, hey, they want to go to 6 and they get an overtime. I mean, I might be happy for that. I might be a guy that loves to see the overtime. I mean, check out this pit stop here by the... I'm being so happy about winning in that round and losing the battery, having to take care of it, as so many shots coming in that previous round there. And it was such a big clutch by Formula 3. I'm not going to lie, I thought Proxy might have been able to win out that round. Weirdo, though, performing so well on F3, getting, I believe, 4 total picks in that last round, showcasing, hey, while we're down, we're not quite out here.
Absolutely insane how these games have been going on this stage today. I promise it's not scripted. It feels like it is, because to go to 3 maps for the alt stage, main stage, for those games to be as exciting as they were, for IV to be leading 6-1 against F3 here, just nothing could have been predicted at the end of the day from us like this, and it's now the unknown. Does F3 find purchase in some momentum? Do they actually work forward here with a defensive hold and pick up multiple rounds? They certainly should. They have the economic advantage going into this round, and so let's see if that plays a big result for round 8.
You know, guys, I'm getting more nostalgia back to last year. This was really... I mean, we saw F3, I think, almost get shut out in map 1, and now they're kind of repeating history with a win. Can they turn it around? Can we see, a repeat of last year's con where they could bring it all the way back? F3's a clutch team. You're going to see a clutch. No doubt about it. 1.5 minutes on the clock. 5 versus 5 still. A lot of people are alive. I haven't seen much death yet so far. It's Snoop with a start. Weirdo got a trip mine kill. That is an impressive way for F3 to start, and now IV are struggling. But look, they're on a bit of an eco, Martini. I would argue. I don't know if they spent too much on this round. Resi K, pop-up kill on the Proxy. It's now just Swift and Sleet. So 1 minute left on the clock here on Maul. And Weirdo catches Swift. It's now just down to Sleek. So can they find maybe another pick before they catch right in the wire? Look at how precise that was. Martini, look, it was on the box. It landed on the box, and he was still in the... He could barely get off of it.
That is how you become a world-class player. Not just having great gun mechanics, great game sense, but also great usage of utility. Not just that, accurate usage of utility, because if they had literally thrown it anywhere else but the box, it really wouldn't have done anything, but to perfectly deliver it right, posted and sent right to that player. I mean, how can you fight against that? F3's really ramping up this momentum. It's the buff. I'm telling you, the buff is coming in. We're at a tournament. They're down 6 points. This is when F3 decides, hey, guys, let's lock in here. Look at that beautiful shot there by Swift, knocking out Snoop. And the very end there, look at that incendiary once more. You can't not give credit to Reeds there. I mean, F3, they're really ramping up right now.
Yeah, this is a heck of a comeback train in full effect. But Martini, talk to me about the economies here, because we do see, obviously, IV getting some footing with after the consecutive loss bonus. You've lost twice in a row. You get a little extra money going into each sequential round that you lose. So eventually they have enough to buy what they need, especially after the eco the round before. And so I wonder if F3 is going to be prepared for a fully equipped IV squad.
Yeah, you have to be winning the last couple rounds. They have a lot more economy, looking really good right now as they come into this, and we'll see how it does play out.
Ooh, there goes the drone. Denying the intel is Weirdo from F3. On that defense, 2 minutes on the clock. Weirdo takes a little bit of pressure, and there's a frag toss. If Weirdo wasn't caught by Plunge, that frag would have killed them. But in the meantime, they caught a trip mine kill. There's another one. Who would have thought we would have seen 2 of those today? In the finals alone, that's crazy. Minute 45 left on the clock. 4 versus 4. Not too many options for IV at the moment. They're going to have to press on that site where F3 is battening down the hatches, waiting for that push to come in. Only 1.5 minutes. Snoop is caught by Proxy. And now F3 are really feeling the pressure of the offense. Remember, if they lose this round, it's over for them in map 1. They're going to have to either win this round or they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if F3 is going to be prepared for all of the ins and outs of maneuvering from Ivy. They heard that audio transmitter details that maybe the push is coming from the site they weren't protecting, and now they have to retake here. Swinging back into Sleet So's position. They find the first kill. Jekyll scoops up 2, a massive double kill that sets Proxy alone essentially on objective as Rezi pushes forward. They've got control. EMP is down and planted. Plunge finds one on the backside. The pinch is here, and the defense is set up for the retake.
This is going to be so difficult. They need to kill both Proxy and Plunge and then defuse that EMP. Jekyll catching a little bit of damage onto Proxy, but it is still that 2v2 EMP is baited out. But Jekyll manages to get the pick. Pros don't fake, but Rezi gets caught through the wall, and now it goes out of Plunge. Can Jekyll get it off in time? Is there enough time left on the clock? 1, 2, 3! With just 3 seconds left on the clock, F3 pull it off. The streak is still alive. That was their 3rd round in a row. They could very easily go 3 more.
I mean, it's LAN time right now. That doesn't happen anywhere else. The hype is real. So many people tuning in online to this amazing live in-person VR Esports at Ben and Marti. I mean, we're getting rounds like this. Come on.
They're going and ramping up this momentum. I mean, we're hearing the crowd, a lot of love for the F3 side. Obviously, some love for the Ivy side. There's a lot of back and forth for these 2 teams, right? It's really slow in the round. F3 really had a great hold on the side, but I mean, Ivy being so smart and adapting, they go for the rotate. I mean, check out this replay going in for shots from these players as that rotation happens. But look at Jekyll coming in.
Huge.
And just getting shots left and right, getting a 3 in the end and clutching things up with a 3-second left on the clock. And for Ivy, that was so close. It was so close to winning out and almost still going to time. They could have maybe drawn it out just a little bit longer, but when it's 3 seconds, it is every second matters in this sort of game.
If you are just tuning in and you're only now catching the action, I gotta say I'm sorry for you. You've missed a heck of a series for now with this map 1, but also all of the games we've had played today. It's just been non-stop action at VRMLCon, and I cannot be happier with what we're tuning into right now. A potential comeback train in full effect. We gotta consider the economy of Ivy because they fully invested into that last round at a very heavy pace. Sure, they get their consecutive loss bonus, but at the end of the day, is it enough? Is it enough to put them into a position where they're comfortable, where they're gonna be able to challenge a fully equipped and fully kitted F3 defense that they know they're going up against? They should know there's trip mines everywhere. They should know there's door blockers. They got to pay attention to this stuff because it's hurting them at the end of the day.
RFF, that's not good. Rezi K takes themselves out of the game, leaving us immediately with a 3 versus 4. Swift looking to drill down.
Another one!
Walker. There's another trip mine. Where's the droning? Oh man, tragedy for Ivy. Jekyll catches another kill onto Plunge. They're looking for one more, but Weirdo catches their next kill. It's up to Swift in a 1v3 clutch scenario. It's all coming down to this for Ivy. If they get a win, just gotta let that soak in.
We gotta marinate in it, Bob. We gotta marinate in it. It's a high energy crowd right now. They're hyped up on the 3v1 as F3 sit comfortably in position for another point on the board. Do we continue this on? Is the train truly going to take us to the 6-6 tiebreaker where we eventually have a champion? This is what I love when we see the first person perspective and the pressure's on the line. There's trembling in the hands. It is a lot of pressure up there.
Clutcher kick for Swift right now, 40 seconds on the clock. Can they do it? They're in a very high pressure scenario.
Huge.
One kill onto Jekyll. Can
quick.
they find a second onto Reaps or Weirdo's smoke
30
deployment?
seconds.
30 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to get in and get that EMP planted if they want to turn time in their favor. Otherwise, you just got to hunt for kills, and they're looking for another one. You can feel the pressure.
Oh,
second kill onto Reaps. This is for the map. Can they do it? No, it doesn't happen. Weirdo finds it, and F3 take another step towards sending us to overtime, Martini.
I don't know about you, but I am definitely on the F3 train. I think we've stepped on, and it looks like we haven't quite stepped off yet as we're 4. You heard me right. 4 rounds in a row, which again, a first half shutout by Ivy. They're a team that has been wanting to prove themselves for so much longer, but I'm going to be quite honest, F3 wants to prove that even more. They've been losing. They've been having so many struggles in these qualifiers. Everyone, even myself included, expected them to lose out against the Acer squad in the previous game. And yet, this is prime F3, looks like. Someone had said the aggression looks so amazing. It feels like a S2, Season 2 F3.
But this goes beyond prime. This is prime breacher. This is the best breachers, I think, that we've had on display in VRML network history. I mean, today has just been nonstop, and it keeps delivering. F3 are absolutely on a full steam ahead train right now. They've got everything they need to keep momentum going. They've got the crowd behind their back cheering for them in the stands, and they are trying to put 2 more points on the board. They're trying to take us to overtime because it's the only option. They do not have any other way through this map on Maul. And maybe I cast or cursed it, but when the side swap happened, I said maybe the side swap's going to be big. I asked you at the start of the series, how does Maul end up being, sidewise? Is it defense? Is it offense? At this stage, it reminds me of Kitty in Vale, which we just saw earlier today, a very defensive-sided map. You like how I blend the two together?
Yeah, very seamless.
Look at you.
And here we go into our, could be last round. We'll have to see if F3 have anything to say about it.
Minute 50, here we go, in what could be the final round of map 1. Minute 45 on the clock. Everybody's still up. Economy, well, it definitely worked out better for one team, I should put it. A minute and a half, though. Ivy have used a lot of their offensive time, and they still have everybody on their team alive. This is not where you want to be. Somebody should probably be dead by now, because the longer you wait, the more time you're giving your opponent to defend, to time you out, and to put the round in their favor. Can Smith survive? No, they're caught on the table, stuck in the incendiary device, and in the fire they go. A minute 10 on the clock. Proxy picks up a little bit of damage through the wall. And now just a minute on the clock. Plunge, finding the headshot onto Resi K, and Sleetso picking up Snoop. Now 4 versus 3. F3 at a player deficit.
Yes,
this
indeed.
is close.
In a dangerous position, Bob. Ivy just want this point as Proxy sets them up for success, immediately catching the kill on the breach. A really nice angle there holding. Sleetso's holding their line down. Plunge finds Reaps, and it's up to Weirdo in the 1v4. They're going to have to overwhelm as they find 1, find 2, don't spin for the 3rd, and it's a Ivy taking map 1 here and taking us to series point for map 2. They're coming from a huge performance against Valor, and they're feeling good right now. Welcome back, everybody. We're here and ready at VRMLCon at the ASU Media Experience Immersive Center for more Breachers VRML action. Martini, what a start to what has been a heck of a day. A great arm wrestle battle that ends in a huge HyperX prize win. But I guess also some gameplay behind us. Ivy with a great performance so far today.
I mean, Ivy showcasing why they are named Ivy, why we had an Ivy era just for a split second. Maybe we might get a little glimpse of that coming back here. As obviously that Acer Dynasty has fallen just for one season here. But F3, I mean, I was so close. I was on that F3 train. You know, I'm an F3 fanboy. You know I want them to win and go all the way, especially with them being the lowest underdog here. I mean, being 4th seed and beating every possible expectation, being the wild card here, and yet they couldn't do it on map 1. I was so sad, but I mean, look at Ivy and what they did on map 1 there.
Martini, you gotta be careful with your passion.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, you're adjusting our entire set over here with your fist slams. Yeah, geez Louise. A shout out to HyperX for great hardware. We love the HyperX monitors. They're on display here this afternoon. I might be taking one home myself. We'll have to see. But they are solid stuff. Really nice gaming monitors. It makes us really easy to see what is fantastic gameplay back and forth. We've got teams in lobby. We had everybody ready to go. And then maybe some technical bumps in the road, as we say. The F3 pit stop back there repairing those pop tires, and we're getting ready to go into our second map of the afternoon. Let's hear it here in the ASU Media Experience Immersive Center for our second map of the Grand Finals on Ship. Martini, tell me about Ship. What are we expecting between these two squads? Ivy, do they have a chance? Are we going to see them 2-0 this thing, or is this F3's turn to battle back?
I think this is definitely the time for F3 to really come back against Ivy. Ship has, after the rework, is a lot of back and forth at this point. It's really who can really win round after round as much as they possibly can. It's not as bad as I think, honestly, Maul, where it's a little more defender-sided. We saw F3 almost escape it out in the very end, but I will say, and I urge this to F3, please, we can't get a 6-0 shutout. It's a little bit hard on a second half, to really claw back 6 match points and go into the overtime. I would love to see something like that, but I get a little scared. And as much as I cheer and I love seeing what the F3 train can develop there, Ivy might be trying to develop their era and come back.
And I do got to shout out quickly, we do have Ivy on the defense and F3 on the attack. We apologize for the confusion on the top there. We'll swap that in a moment here as Ivy does get ready for their defensive holster down, and F3 trying to set some sort of momentum, some sort of speed, some sort of pace, and getting denied by Insins and Sleetso picking up the first kill.
And Proxy, almost walked into a little bit of a hot spot. 2 minutes on the clock. 4 versus 5. I gotta say, I love seeing this map. It's very on theme with my particular head item.
Of course, you're the captain.
A minute 50 on the clock as F3 are having a go at this IV defense. Ship has always been definitely a defense favorite map, so good utility play may help out F3, but Weirdo is caught by Plunge. The rest of their team was not there. Mac looking to get that EMP in and planted. A bit of a gunfight between both sides. Leaves us with a 4 versus 2. Plunge goes for the swing. They're going to collect Mac, and it's now just down to Faded. Look at the double from Plunge. IV are hungry for this championship.
There's more than that they're hungry for. It's cash prizing, 5,000 on the line at the end of the day. HyperX gear on their heads. It's a better, the revolver headset, the cloud earbuds. It's all something that's got to be in their mind, Martini. They're standing on stage, they have crowd cheering for them or against them. Every bit of that factoring into how they played it.
Again, that's one of the coolest things about being at LAN, and just hearing the stage and hearing the crowd, hearing the casters talk about the highs and the lows of what happened in that round. And let's talk about what happened in that previous round. We saw a weird swing by Weirdo, though, and it didn't quite work out as Plunge was able to start their 3K rolling in. And again, IB just so good on that defense, and I'm hoping to see if we can see a truly flawless defense come out from them once more, because we saw that in that first map. We saw that in the previous set of matches there. F3, again, they had to do something different here. I want to see the F3 train develop, but it feels like it falls away from their hands sometimes, right? But I know they got it in them. We see the love that they have for the game. We saw how hyped they were to see that they moved on. We know they got the chops. It's about how can they do this, and we're coming in now to round 2 after that pistol round. Again, it's only the first round. They have so many more rounds to work on things.
Here we go as F3 reach the outside of the ship and begin their entry in. Plunge gets caught off. Snoop scoops up one with the SMG. The Ensign on the back line, shutting them down. It continues to be a standout element here as they get distracted by a clone that's down right there. You might be thinking, is that a bug? Why is there somebody there? It's a piece of utility that you can deploy on the defense to mimic a player, to make it look like there's someone there. That thing never takes damage, and ultimately, this F3 squad has to ignore it. They have to avoid shooting at it, wasting ammo, or eventually destroy it like we saw Mac do there. And as they push in, the nades come out from the offense.
And now F3 stacking, getting ready to push in on A. There goes the wall, opened up into the back line of the IV defense. There's a good flashbang. Weirdo dives in. 1, 2. Can they make it 3? No. Sleetso's denying that. Frag tossed out. S-tier frag onto Mac. And IV bouncing right back. Jekyll caught Swift with that Viper. And now we are in a 1v1. As you can hear the crowd chanting. 1v1. And Sleetso and Faded. Who is going to be the one to take the momentum? It's Faded! F3 step up. First round on their ship offense. I think every round they pick up here is going to count, Martini.
I want to see this go back and forth, and I want to have to prove to me, hey, Martini, you can shout me out, Faded. Shout out to Faded as they shouted me out on that interview. Shout out to you for clutching up that round for the F3 squad. And I mean, let's get a little rundown of what happened there. The flashbang flashbang. Tukey with a weirdo assist there. I mean, that flashbang was vital. And again, shout out to also that flashbang buff, because this season was one of the biggest things where the flashbang allowed the attacking team to have a little bit more leeway into getting into these sites. Because remember, defense is generally a little more advantaged for them. So being an attacker is very challenging sometimes, but we're seeing that change up now with the flashbang buffs coming out for these teams here. But in the end, I mean, Sleeso with a 3K there in the end. These again, a full house in terms of a multi kills. And I love seeing those sort of gameplay come out from both of these teams here.
You know, we've got a huge crowd tuning in online, so a big shout out to them. If you are stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I gotta say it here while we're live. And if you are here, subscribe to the VRML network, because we have content like this all year long for our regular season gameplay. You can catch me, Bob Martini, online, hosting matches, commentating like we do here, but only at VRMLCon are we live and in person, Martini. And it's great to be able to pat the fantastic camera worker on the back as they do some great jobs with replays and awesome work from the production team as we do get into round 3 here. A nade to the back line that doesn't quite cash Ash on Quest out.
Uh-oh, but look, F3 is doing what they do best and playing aggressively. Uh-oh. Oh! S-tier frag! S+ tier, S+++ tier for 1 for every kill. Weirdo, tremendous work, plunge response, but hey, come on, you can't follow that one up. That was just insane. You almost never see that. 4 versus 2, EMP, in-planted, plunge swift. What do you even do?
Yeah, that is tough. That nade stings. That's a huge shift of momentum for F3. EMP planted. Snoop here on the short corner. Shuts down plunge from advancing. And, well, maybe it's worth ecoing, quite frankly, if you are Swift on Quest, taking what you have through to the next round. That's something that you can do in this game, but to a limited scale. We see other games where you can hold multiple guns through to the next round. You can carry a huge amount of resources with you if you're the one left alive. Here, it's really limited to just the gun and utility you have on your chest. That isn't to say that it's important they save this, because, Martini, let's look at the economy. Let's analyze how things are looking right now for this IV squad down a point.
A little challenging, right? They got that initial win, but those back-to-back losses are going to really set them back for a bit. So they got to really figure out how do they want to handle this economy going into this upcoming round, especially when you have an amazing S triple plus tier frag coming out there from Weirdo, and the most literal refrag coming out from Plunge themselves, which is hilarious, right? A literal refrag, and they tried their best to fight out that round, but there's not much you can do on the IB side when half of your squad has been knocked out. And check out that as Snoop goes in for the final touches there. You can just see the bodies also in the background there from that 3K on that frag. That was just beautiful gameplay from F3. And this is where they succeed, and this is where they excel, right? On those aggressive plays when they can get those picks and force themselves into that site. That's exactly what I want to see from F3. Please, F3, keep doing that. Please keep cooking. Please, I want to see y'all make it a map 3 here.
Can you tell he's an F3 fan?
Maybe.
I do want to report to the crowd that everyone that's tuning in is enjoying the experience. They say W crowd, so a shout out to everyone tuning in. Little crowd interaction right there, Martini. Only something you can get at VRMLCon as we do get back into the action. Shots coming in through the wall.
All right, Weirdo picking up one with the RL nonetheless. Beautiful headshot through the wall. Crazy accuracy coming in from F3. 2 minutes on the clock. Boy, who would have ever thought we'd see this crazy? Oh my goodness, a collateral! A triple from Snoop! There's Weirdo shutting it down! Whoa! Look at that! Blink and you will miss it, gentlemen. That's a 3-1 game. F3 leading on ship offense.
I mean, the most real full house there. A 3K from Weirdo. Sorry, Snoop. A 2K from Weirdo. Just... I mean, Nightfire, what do you want to see from IB at this point? I'm wondering, they're being challenged by F3, the aggression coming out there by Sue from the crazy swing, and sometimes you got to swing or get swung there, and he definitely swung as far as they possibly can and getting that 3K in the pocket.
The question ringing in my mind becomes, what side advantage do we typically see here on ship? I feel like it's lend itself to offensive more. As we look back at this replay, Snoop barreling forward for the double kill, scooping up the triple before finally Plunge denies entry. But there's great teamwork and coordination coming to scoop up that last kill and set themselves up for success. So F3 sit comfortably in the lead 3-1, but IV now have the economy to buy in. They frankly didn't last round. They weren't ready to compete against a fully equipped F3 squad. They were down 2 rounds in a row. That's not enough money to get on your consecutive loss bonus. Now it is.
Into round number 5 we go, the penultimate round before we get into the second half. Look at the F3 entry. Already they pick up 2 kills onto IV, getting control over the workshop. Here comes the dive in once more. IV may have to try some kind of different strategy to get in against F3, because right now they're really hemorrhaging momentum against F3. And look, the EMP is in, it's getting planted, trip mine kill, and F3 make it an EMP planted. Now just 45 seconds before they claim this round as well. 4 versus 3. Looks like we've unfortunately had a disconnect. Hopefully they can get in before the end of this round. There's Nicholas right there. Nicholas, don't move. You're in a good spot. Just stay there. This EMP is ticking down. Nicholas is backing up. That's better for IV. But now we're in this 3 versus 4. They've got to move in. Nicholas, no. They tried to clutch up, but Nicholas couldn't handle it. And now it's a 2 versus 4. And we may see IV having to salvage, having to do something to try and recover from this incredible F3 offense. It doesn't happen. EMP defuses, and F3, we're getting like dangerously close to F3 almost shutting out IV on the offense.
Yeah,
it's a big comeback right now, and hopefully we'll F3 pit stop this team. I'm not sure why they have one out right now, but it's unfortunately what's happening with IV over there. They have a tough time in map number 1, you know, again, fighting pretty hard against F3 on a comeback train, and maybe momentum is getting carried from map 1 to map 2 by F3.
Yeah, this F3 train is really ramping up right now. This momentum is picking up so much. If I were IV, sometimes you have to say you might need to step out of the way because it's looking a little complicated for them there. I mean, they played a little too aggressive on that defense for IV in that previous round. As we saw, Tukey allow the F3 squad to walk in and plant on site, and we saw it go all the way to the end there. I mean, Weirdo coming in clutch, 8-3, Snoop 6-3, some big numbers from those top 2 fraggers on the F3 side. They're looking really good, and that defense unfortunately did not pan out for the IV squad. But hey, a little shout out to Ash, another trip mine kill. So many trip mine kills in this matchup.
No more bots. Nicholas is gone. We got him out of here.
Hey, he tried, all right?
I saw, for a moment, I saw an Elon Musk robot up there. I was like, wait, hold on. No bots are allowed on stage. As we do get back into it, it's only humans that are up there battling against F3. And F3 down 1 right away, trying to get through this wall and having a hard time breaking through. The Ash on Quest suppressive fire catches Mac out.
3 versus 5. It's down to Weirdo, Jekyll, and Faded to bring it home for F3 in this round. Jekyll's caught by Proxy and Sleet, so it's suddenly up to Faded, who catches a kill. But just like that, 4-2 heading into the second half. Martini, really, I don't know if I was expecting it to go that way for F3, but it's quite beneficial for
Still pretty decisive win right in that first half. 4-2. I wanted to see if they could do 5-1, but they're not going to get the 5-1 curse here, unfortunately, for that IV side. But hey, 4-2 is very favorable for IV as much as they possibly can claw back, because as you saw that F3 train, it was just running so fast, so far forward. And again, these trip mines keep coming out of time and time again. The last player in the end getting knocked out. Shout out to Ash. Shout out to Weirdo on the other side with the trip mines. Those 2 players know where to place them and just trip up these players, and obviously being down an extra...
Trip up? I see what you mean.
Oh, you like that layup? Yeah, that's what I... But as they got tripped up there, it's great because it allows them to get an easy pick. Not easy. Gets a pick on the other side without having to put any of their players at a disadvantaged position or have to put themselves in any danger there. So 4-2 is looking great right now for the F3 squad. We saw them perform well on defense. Hopefully they can win this one out and force us into a map 3, because you know I'm a sucker for going to those tiebreakers.
Yeah, it's Well, now that you said it, Martini, I have concerns, but I wasn't.
Did I curse that for you? I'm sorry.
I wasn't
I'm so sorry.
until you had to let that one out. But here we go into round number 7. We've reset economies. We've swapped sides. We're back to pistols. IV are on the attack. F3 are on the defense. Things are different. They are very different. This could be where IV start to really settle in to a little bit of momentum. They can dictate the pace here on ship, and that may be enough.
Into round 7 we go, and Mac is going to find the first pick of the round, but they are quickly refragged by Slitzo. Never celebrate too early, because you never know if somebody is going to be lurking around the corner. So momentum is a little bit equalized as both teams have found a pick. And soon enough, we can see Snoop finding a kill onto Slitzo. I'm seeing something very, very important there. I don't know about you. Yeah. Fire. We'll see if Ivy have picked up on that. They're on their offensive half right now, looking to correct that trajectory a little bit. Yeah, they dropped the EMP downstairs and they had to go and get it. But whew, not probably how they wanted to start their offense.
Nah, not ideal. IV down 2 out the gate. It's the pistol round, so it's a tone setter for sure, but it doesn't quite set you apart that much from your opponent at the end of the day. Your opponent can still choose to pretty much full buy in as well. After a loss, it's just tremendously risky. And so we could see when it's time, when the chips are on the line, you know, when there's 5K prize pool and hardware to work for, maybe we'll see the risk taken. That's what's exciting about this live environment. Do they go with these risky moves when it matters most? Live on stage as the setup here comes in from IV. 30 seconds left. They have to push into sight now.
And less than half a minute on the clock. I know we're seeing Martini's favorite play. It's the hatch drop down. Can they get into the site quickly enough? The wall is opened up. Is Swift going to get caught?
Huge Ensign.
Blocking off the F3 push. Jekyll on the flag. Double kill. 5-2 and F3 with that win. That
Dare I say it, Bob? I mean, this is why I am a hater through and through and through of a jump hatch. Because who was the one that finished out that last engagement there? It was Jekyll from none other than the jump hatch that they just utilized to try and push into the site there. Those deep roamers got so much value on the F3 side, getting those early picks there. And obviously that EMP being dropped was so vital, I think, for that F3 defense. It burned so much time for the IV side that you saw they were pressured to move in there and be forced to use a jump hatch. I would have gone down the stairs personally, but you know, utilize a jump hatch when you can there. And I mean, Mac, again, be careful about that. Jekyll, look at that again, the 2K in the end from the infamous jump hatch on top of the fire being burned right below it. And I just want to give a little small cheeky shout out to Mac. Be careful, you got your pick, but look around first before you celebrate the utility you're gonna pick up on the person you just died, like that just died.
I was going to call out what I usually call that. That's Martini's favorite play. But I didn't want to give anything away.
I heard Martini scream, no, as they did it. Okay. He is passionate here as the fans tuning in, and respect, because it is awesome gameplay to tune into. It's maybe the most fun I've had watching Breachers. As a massive flash, insane out there, doesn't connect. Maybe they're trying to hit it on the rail. That would have been an insane toss. I don't know if it would have resulted in a kill, but it cost them their life as Snoop goes down real early, and IV are in a nice position to open up the round.
That was the peak of all time. It didn't quite get F3 what they wanted it to do, but 5 versus 3, we saw Jekyll go down 2. IV, they've got pretty deep pockets, and so they've invested what they can. 1:40 on the clock. They've done a good job of securing some early round momentum, but there's Mac bringing things back a little bit more for their team, and now the EMP is planted, complete site control by IV.
Oh boy.
And this is what's the word? It's going to be slightly difficult for 3 to get this one back. Slitzo getting the kill onto Mac, and Plunge covering their team's bases. That EMP slowly ticking down. And really, I mean, they've just got so many people alive. I really don't know if there's any way F3 can attack this site to not only kill everybody, but then also be able to defuse the EMP in time.
IV gonna get this round on the board, and we're actually seeing Eco from the 2 left alive on defense. They want those SMGs for the next round because they invested relatively hard here on the F3 side in this one. And they can't afford to not have that SMG carry through. They have to have something to fight with, because I think it's gonna be like SMGs across the board for them. They don't have any other option. In comparison, IV also similar in a similar position, but they're gonna be. They have a lot more backbone. They have a lot more to work with. So maybe they don't commit too hard. Maybe they overcommit. Those are the questions that you're asking if you're on F3. What are we gonna see? What's our opponent gonna bring to the table here? And you know. It's a moment like this when you want to change it up. When maybe you want to play it extra safe in comparison to how you normally would. Maybe you go for a half buy. Maybe you go all in and pick up all the utility you need. There's a lot of different options. We take a look at our replays. We see some big moves coming through from these teams, and I love to see the players on stage, Martini. It's so awesome to see them celebrate. It's so great to see them aiming in person, leaning in person. I mean, there's a lead. You don't have to actually lead. You can, they're leaning hard in this game. You know, it's great to see how physical it ends up being at the end of the day, and you only really see that when you're live and watching it from VRMLCon on stage.
Yeah, that's what I love to see from Ivy, that tenacity. Even though they're down several rounds, they have the boldness, the bravery to just keep pushing forward, and they did so well on the previous round, getting that Tukey, going for the rotate, and man, things worked out so well for them.
All right. But can things keep working out well for IV? They did find a bit of momentum, but F3 they're the momentum killers this map. They've certainly found their groove. Can they continue? Ooh, proximity alarm gave plunge right away. And now 4 versus 5. Snoop not getting that ambush kill, but they did almost collect the kill on to Sleetso. Now just a minute 40 on the clock. IV wounded. They took some damage from this initial push. You do if you are in their shoes. Just a minute and a half on the clock. Still, a lot of people alive at this point in the game, and it's getting concerning because, again, you're applying more pressure to your own team the longer you take. Ash looking to get that EMP planted. The Incendiary missed them, but they find a string of kills, and now it's just down to a 1v2 between Mac. Can they get the clutch for their team?
There's
one on the proxy, almost looking for the second, onto Ash, and Ash gets it instead. Ivy, and they get the plan off too, but 5-4, and now they are in a bit of trouble on F3 because Ivy is crawling their way back slowly but surely.
So close, and I want to see this F3 train maybe start up back once more, but IB, got to give credit where credit is due. They're doing so good, changing the momentum in their favor in these last 2 rounds there, and especially got to highlight the actions by Ash there in the end to be able to still stick it in the end, get the clutch, and see how things have been working out for them in the area. I mean, check out Proxy getting a great entry there. Mac trying to bring things back, but just can't quite in the very end as Ash able to really bait them out there. I mean, look at those picks from those Ivy squad players.
The way Ash maneuvered there was very high level. They recognized their HP deficit. They knew there was an opponent outside. They dipped back to force the peak, so they have the 3/4 cover, and they have a completely exposed opponent. Without a full HP, but with 3/4 cover, they win that fight. They put their team back on the board. Ivy chips away at this lead, and, well, inch closer and closer to a Series W. Ivy now just need 3 to put 5K in their pockets.
You make it sound so easy.
That's all they gotta do.
Not if F3 have anything to say about it. Both teams have an incredibly supportive crew behind them. Swift already opening up with a pick onto Jekyll. 5 versus 4 with 2 minutes on the clock. And we're down on the bottom floor site, and Plunge finding with an S-tier frag. Ash collecting a refrag onto Snoop. We're suddenly down to a 2 versus 4. Where has the F3 team gone?
Ivy is gaining full control of the scenario here of this series. Faded on Quest finds one, but a quick refrag from Plunge keeps the momentum in their favor. And now Weirdo into the 1v3. Has to put this thing together for their team, and they don't have an optimal kit comparatively to their opponents. They're going to have to string some miracle together here or react to rotations, pushes, other bits of utility. A lot to read as we do see them swing around here. Martini celebrating what's happening.
No, he and I have noticed something that has affected this round. But a minute 10 on the clock, and it's up to Weirdo to win this 1v3 clutch scenario. Just a minute left. Can F3 maintain their lead, or will Ivy get the tie? No! The EMP's down, but it doesn't happen. And the moment of hype is over as Ivy shut down that attempt from F3. It's now a tie. We both saw it. Ivy,
can I call it out? You always got to be those EMP checkers. You got to double check, because we'd seen Ivy would have had a very, very defined win there. They might have not even lost a whole person, right? And one of those things, again, a great economy choice is not dying, right? Yep. Not dying. So you can save the money, not spend money on the weapons there, but that isn't quite what happened. Check out the replay from that previous round. I mean, Mac, again, doing so well, and obviously Ivy
that was the 1v1 that ended it. We love that replay. That's the end of that round there, and another good kill over the top, keeping this thing close, keeping it to a 5v5. I mean, Martini, this is the grand finals. This is Ivy 2 rounds away from taking this series. It's the best of 3, not a best of 5. There's not a lot of room for error for these teams.
I think we talked about this before, right? F3, they gotta feel like there's pressure. So even though they had a lead, they're like, hey, we're doing too good. Let's kind of chill it for a little bit. Let Ivy think they have this, and then we'll lock back in. And I'm hoping that's what's gonna happen here. Otherwise, Ivy's about to go with this, and maybe we'll see another Ivy era coming up after a rough qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I don't know if we can trust online qualifiers to really determine who's going to come out on top here at VRMLCon, because they've just performed different when it's come to being on the stage, when the pressure is on, and when there's a crowd cheering for them, watching them, making it even more action-packed than this game already is. It's a lot to deal with for these players. As Faded on Quest finds the wall bang. They catch one of the IV members trapped in a corner, and IV with a quick refrag. Sleetso's been a standout shooter so far, putting more points on the board, more kills on the board. And will they be ready for this defensive setup from the F3 side? IV working their way up and getting ready for the push, and Sleetso finds the elbow. No, the head of Weirdo. It's a quick pick, and Snoop tries to reinforce with Instance, but on the back line, they're getting pressured. Plunge finds that one. Jekyll, a huge threat. Can't find either that they're aiming for, and we get into a 1v1.
1v1.
All coming down to this, folks. Minute 20 on the clock. Round 11 of 12. Whoever wins this going to get match point on this map. Can Faded and Swift, who will prevail out of these two players? Only a minute on the clock.
Huge
There's
flash.
the utility from Swift, and it blinded Faded. And now Ivy take match point. The only way F3 can win this series is by going through an overtime victory.
The back and forth in that round, I mean, the flashbang buff coming out, and it's truly all its glory, and very, very, very bright glory, obviously, there. Jekyll almost forcing this backwards for the F3 squad. This is, again, going head for head here. I don't know who's going to win here. I want to see what Ivy can do against F3. They've been having this ramped up momentum the last 3 rounds, doing such a good job against F3. And F3 has been honestly just letting things simmer. I need them to start cooking again, because this is the last round. This is it. Ivy's going home with a trophy and $5,000 in the pocket, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if F3's going to want to see that happen.
They're also going home with a lot of adrenaline. This IV squad is hyped up. They are screaming. They are feeling good. They are on the cusp of taking a series win, a 2-0 grand finals victory, and it's got to feel good. Those replays got to feel good. We look at the KDs. We see 11-7, 10-7, some good kills coming through from this IV squad, as Sleetso definitely a standout player for IV this afternoon.
Yeah, both Sleetso and Ash, the only players in this map that have dropped double digits kills. That's impressive, as we say in the business.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock in what could be the final round of this best of 3 series. Otherwise, F3 are going to be taking us to a third map. Will it happen? We'll find out soon enough. Make sure you're cheering on your favorite team if you want to see them win. Minute 50 on the clock. Both teams getting ready, stacking up outside of the site. Sleetso opening with the kill onto Faded, and F3's defense faltering just a tad bit, but it could stack up. It could add up. It could be the reason they end up being defeated. Yes. Jekyll catching 1. Good flank. 2 on the flank. Almost a third, but no, it doesn't happen. 2 versus 3. Minute and a half on the clock now, and it's between Sleetso, Plunge, Ash, Weirdo, and Snoop, who's going to walk away as the victorious one in this series. Ivy could end it right here. They could become the champions. They could take out F3, who denied them the opportunity to even go to the qualifiers to the LAN last year. It's all coming down to this. Can they finally achieve retribution, revenge, call it whatever you like? Snoop is with there. 1 kill, but Sleetso's there on the refrag, and now it's just down to Weirdo in a 1 versus 2. They do have a weapon, but can they find the 2 kills that they need? 50 seconds on the clock, and it's in dire circumstances for F3. A 1v2 is never easy to clutch up. But does Weirdo have the power to make history, to take F3 to overtime on this final map? It's all coming down to this moment. Half a minute on the clock. Maybe Weirdo can time out Ivy. No, it's not going to happen. They're going to get a little aggressive. There's the flash shot. Sleeps up a little damage from their teammate. Weirdo finding 1. 2! Oh my goodness! Big clutch up! Big clutch up! We're going to overtime!
It's happening! We go to OT here for map number 2. F3 keeping this thing alive, Martini. The crowd is excited. Let's see if the energy's enough. Overtime, Bob, break it down for us. Who's got the points? Where are we headed? What side is what team on?
So we can take a look at the in-game scoreboard. Love the hype. If we take a look at the in-game scoreboard here, both teams have been accumulating a total score. You can see that up on the top left and right of the screen. It looks like F3 actually had a higher score, so they got to pick if they can go on the offense or the defense. They took offense, and everybody got $4,000 to work with, to spend on whatever they like, and whoever wins this is going to win this map. It's either going to be F3 or it's going to be Ivy walking away with the series and the medal and the prize and all the glory.
If we go another map, these players have to there's no break. They're going to go right into a third map. It's going to be 6 maps in a row. It's going to be insane to see if that happens. And Bobo VR, thank you so much. We need you to be able to do this. If we don't have those batteries on, there's just no way that we're playing through to that third map, because the normal quest would have died. A quest 2 would have died. 3 would have died. The battery life keeping us alive here into this grand finals tiebreaker for map 2.
Here we go. Into the final round. We cannot go to another round after this. It's all coming down to who's going to make history as a grenade is tossed. Mac picking up quite a bit of damage. Roxy finds the first pick of this round. 4-5. F3 starting off at a bit of a deficit. And look at what happened. Look at what happened. They're surviving the flash, but the EMP is getting planted. Plunge, in the meantime, finding the kill onto Snoop. And now F3 have to play the defensive game, but can they survive? Can they hold down the EMP while it times out? Ivy haven't lost anybody. Now they did. They lose Plunge, but Sleetso catching the pick onto Weirdo, and now F3 have hatched supremacy, but can they survive? Roxy now goes down, and Swift looking to stick that EMP, throws a fake fade and finds the second kill. It's now down to a 1 versus 2. Can Jekyll survive? Can they get it? No, they go down! Can they defuse in time? Can they defuse in time? 1, 2, 3! Ivy take the series. They take the championship.
And it's Ivy, VRMLCon's 2025 champ.